Hey, everybody, back here in the headquarters, getting a chance to hopefully get caught up here a little bit. I got a lot of video breakdowns I need to do over the next couple days. So that is what I'm going to do. Obviously, been a very busy June, wrapping up the month of June here, and um, the FBS larger college programs are on a dead period right now, and that'll last until the last week of July. Then the last week of July, we go from a dead to a quiet period. And then once we hit August, we go right back to the dead period for the larger schools. There are camps in July. I know there are a handful of FBS schools across the country that will have a late July camp. I want to say maybe Michigan State is one of them. I don't know if I'm 100% certain they're doing it this year. I know they've done it in the past. And there's been some others, but really the majority of the camps you're going to find now is going to be at the FCS level. I know all of our in-state schools, except Eastern Illinois. I think I'm waiting for a date on Eastern Illinois. We'll have on-campus one-day camps this summer in July. So I'll definitely spend some time hitting the road and going to check out some of the FCS camps this summer. But in the meantime, time to get in and get a little in-depth and talk about what Western Michigan University, Timmy Lester and his staff, tremendous Chicagoland ties between him and Lou Esposito, and just a staff full of guys that are well-known recruiters and do a really good job here in the state of Illinois for the Broncos. And they land, I think, a terrific get. I hate using that term, but get in Thornwood, three-star safety, Saveon Brown. And Saveon Brown's a kid that, again, we talked earlier about Maurice Edwards from Warren Township. Brown right into the same category of a kid that, for whatever circumstances, just I don't think got the looks and the kind of traction that he really should have gotten in the process. And again, I will point towards no fall football in 2020 because of COVID. Obviously, no spring evaluation period, I think definitely hurt Saveon because, we'll get into it. But again, another of the many examples I can point to and say, here's a kid that in most other years I think would have had more and maybe even higher level offers at the D1 level. And in a lot of cases, he had a ton of schools staying in touch and were interested, but for whatever reason, just never extended an offer, and Saveon moved on with this process, which I think he's done a really smart job. The way this landscape is right now, if you have FBS offers, I don't care if it's MAC or if it's SEC, you better be looking really hard at your options right now because those offers are not going to be out there very long. So again, Saveon commits to Western Michigan. I know Western Michigan, I think, was the third offer he received. So the Broncos were in on him pretty early in the process. Again, rivals, we have Saveon ranked as a 3-star. He's definitely a safety player, definitely a safety that could play safety, maybe some outside linebackers, maybe a kind of a hybrid type. I look at Saveon Brown, and he is already physically ready to play in college football. I think that's what really stands out to me about him is just his physical tools, the combination of strength and just he's a really fluid athlete, runs really well, can backpedal, can plant and turn his hips and flip his hips easily, can change direction really well. And again, physical, strong kid that I think it's really only scratched the surface of what he's going to wind up being. In a lot of ways, I see him as a kid that really hasn't even come close to playing his best football, but he has the overall package, the intelligence, the physical tools, the instincts. I think he's a Big Ten caliber player. And I've said that from very early on. I know we have him ranked as a 3-star. I see Saveon being a high 3, maybe even a low 4. But again, we'll have to see him play this fall, and I'm sure rivals will as well, and be able to determine exactly where that final star ranking is. But bottom line is this is a great, great ball player. Saveon mentioned in his commitment story, he had several other MAC offers. He had a lot of higher level FCS offers and a ton of schools lined up, and Big Ten schools in particular, lined up that had a lot of interest in him. But as we mentioned, for those various reasons of no spring evaluation, colleges weren't able to see them. And also Saveon coming off a spring injury from the spring season wasn't able to really hit the camp circuit very hard. He only got to one camp, which was at the very end at Iowa. And he said he felt really good, and it was good to be back out and getting after it. And he just just wasn't able to get seen in person and work out like he would have in a normal year. And that plays a huge part because he's a kid that you see him on the hoof and you see him work out in person, you'll be impressed. And that just didn't happen, unfortunately, for Saveon. So again, I think Western Michigan for Savion's a great fit. I think he's going to end up being a player that will have a chance, I think, to really crack a lineup and contribute early for the Broncos. Again, as I mentioned, he is physically ready to take it right now. Still has more to learn. Fundamentally, he still has work to do. Technique-wise, he still has work to do. But other than that, everything's there for him to, I think, have a really successful career at Western Michigan. And look, you have a successful career at Western Michigan, you're going to get opportunities to maybe play on Sundays if things go really well. So, again, I think it's a really good fit on a lot of different levels. As I mentioned, I've known Saveon for a while now, probably a couple years, and just a really mature, well-spoken, intelligent young man. And again, he's just great. We have great discussions, and he's a South Suburban kid, and I was a South Suburban kid, so we just kind of can relate a little bit there. And I just love the decision, and I give Western Michigan all the credit in the world. They went after him early. They stuck with him. And, again, that loyalty is paying off by getting a commitment from a kid I think that should have wound up at the Big Ten level in Saveon Brown from Thornwood. So there you go. Just my take. Plenty more evaluations and breakdowns coming over the next month or so. So it's staying busy. So stay tuned and check back. I'll have